Hey, everybody, look at this. We are back. City Beats is back. I'm your host, Efrem Smith, and it's good to be with you. Now, you might be thinking, you're back. Season 2. Where's season 1? Aha! Yes. You can go to City Beats with Efrem Smith. You can go to City Beats on YouTube and you can watch all of season 1. Yes, I think there's like 11 or 12 episodes, something like that. So you can go back and hear great conversations on a number of topics. One of my favorites was an episode that I did with a guy named Denzel Peoples, and we talked about superheroes and systemic injustice. We talked specifically about Watchmen. We talked about the Tulsa Massacre of 1921. Well, you just got to go check it out. There's a bunch of episodes that are really great. I think they're all great. So again, you can go to the YouTube channel, City Beats with me, and you can subscribe, watch all the episodes from season 1. Or if you're a podcast person on your phone, like sometimes I like taking a walk and listening on my headphones connected to my phone, and I'm just listening. Well, you can go to Apple podcast and you can download it there. You can subscribe there on Apple and you can listen that way. So no excuse. Check out City Beats. And yes, this is the beginning of season 2 and it's February. So, February is Black History Month. February is Valentine's Day happens in February. February also happens to be my wedding anniversary month. So why not, if you're going to start season 2 in February, in Black History Month, I'm black. Oh, if you're going to start it in Black History Month, and it's Valentine's Day month, and it's my wedding anniversary, why would I not, why would I not have my wife, Donecia, on this episode? And here she is.
You're so sweet.
Donecia Norwood Smith.
Hello.
How you doing?
I am great. How are you?
You're going to talk with that soft,
I might.
loving voice the
I just
whole
might.
time?
Unless you cross me.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll try to behave myself, I guess. So what we should let people know is that, one, it's our wedding anniversary, as I mentioned, in February. And this year happens to be our 28th
That's right.
wedding anniversary. And so there's 28 days in February. We've been married 28 years. So one of the things we're doing, if you follow us on social media, so if you follow us on Facebook or Instagram, so you're going to have to give all those social media handles. So you can catch me, Efrem, Smith on Facebook, Efrem.Smith on Instagram. You're Coach Donecia?
Coach Donecia on Instagram and Donecia Norwood Smith on Facebook.
So anyway, we've got this thing. It's since we've been married for 28 years and it's our 28th wedding anniversary in February. We're doing this thing called
28 days.
That's right. 28 days of love and reflections. And so if you want to see pictures of us when we were in college or high school, if you want to see our wedding picture, if you want to see when I had hair, when I had a little bit of an afro, when I used to have earrings, if you want to see all of that, or if you just want to see the better looking half of us in half the pictures, you can follow us on social media, and whether it's Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, you can see 28 days of love and reflections. All right. And this episode is part of that 28 days since we're here in the month of February. But before I get into that, and this is going to be connected, a lot has happened since the last episode of season 1 of City Beats. Like, we recorded all the episodes of City Beats first season. We put them all out there. Thank Mark Johnston. Put them all out there. And one day you might see Mark Johnston. He's kind of like, he's the secret sauce in the background. He's like, the Spike Lee, Steven Spielberg behind everything. So, but one day, if I get enough people, DMing me on social media, saying, I want to see Mark Johnston. I want to see Mark Johnston. Then maybe it might happen. He's shaking his head no right now. I'm looking at him right now. He's like, absolutely not. But I would still do it. Like, flood us. Like if we get 1,000 people that say, I want to see Mark Johnston. I want to see Mark Johnston. I believe it'll happen. I believe it happened. So anyway, after we finished recording all the episodes of season 1 of City Beats, then COVID-19 happened.
Rona.
The death of George Floyd happened.
Yes.
The presidential campaign happened.
Oh, my.
The attempted insurrection on the nation's capital happened. A lot has happened. And I can only imagine the anxiety, the stress of the combination of COVID-19, racial unrest, racial injustice, political polarization, people angry, stressed, people trying to figure out how to work from home.
Yes.
How to make sure their kids are in school from home.
Yes.
Can 4 people be on the internet at the same time at home? And so I want to start this episode on relationships by just talking about, for you, I mean, I guess you're going to tell business on me too since we're married, but how did COVID-19, all that was 2020, affect relationships for you in your home?
Well, I feel like I was whipped upside one side and down the other side during the whole 2020 with an array of emotions. I mean, from stress and just the anxiety of sometimes not even wanting to leave my house. And then when you think about that, those feelings of what's going on outside and how you process that on the inside with those you love and are closest to, I felt myself having to really process how I was going to communicate with you and with our daughters, and just how we're going to navigate this shared space. Like, we were used to having just the 2 of us at home, but now, our 21-year-old has been home with us for a year.
Yeah, that's right. So for people that don't know, we have 2 daughters.
We have 2 daughters, yes.
One is 24, engaged to be married, in graduate school, and our youngest daughter is a senior in college, but because she's at a college in the state of California, she had to,
I should almost tell that story.
Her senior year.
Yes.
Oh, you have to tell me what story you were going to tell. Because I was like anybody, I feel bad for anybody having to finish their senior year in college from home. Like your senior year. I mean, I think way back when I was in college, I couldn't imagine that. I mean, my college experience wasn't as fun as my high school experience. I mean, when I look back, I enjoyed high school way more than I enjoyed college. But even with that, it would have been a total bummer if I would have been at home with my parents for my senior year of college.
Well, half her junior year and her senior year.
That's right.
Right.
So what story were you thinking about?
I was just about my emotions and how I felt and how I processed everything. Yeah. It started with me making phone calls to our daughter saying, hey, things are changing in the world. You probably want to come home. It's not looking real good.
Oh, that's right. Like, she was upset. My wife was, you were upset with me because when shelter in place first came, our oldest daughter's in grad school in Missouri, and our youngest daughter's in undergrad in Southern California. And at that time, it wasn't that I didn't take COVID serious. I took COVID serious. I just, for whatever reason, I didn't realize at that moment it was going to be so bad that college campuses were going to be shut down. Right. So at this moment, this was like middle of March, end of March.
I can give you the exact day.
Wow. All right. So you give the exact day. So in March, I'm thinking, hey, let's just see how things go.
Right.
And if we have to go drive down to Southern California and get Maria, we can go get her. If we have to, fly Jada home, we can figure that out. But you were like, I want my daughters home right now. So let's start there. Explain, what was it about and it's not like COVID is over. I mean,
This is true.
it's 2021. We're still in the COVID era.
Yes.
We're now it's like, which we can get to that later, to get a vaccine or not to get a vaccine, which you have an opinion about. And I have one too. So I don't know if we're going there. If you want to go there, if that's
This is
part
about
two.
relationships, right?
That's right. This is about, so all our stuff about relationships and the conflict in relationships could come out in this episode. So, but I want to go back because you went total mama bear on at the beginning of COVID of like, I want my whole family in this house. And I wasn't getting it.
Yeah, none of y'all were getting it.
Right. So tell that story.
Okay, so earlier, like early March, you were on a business trip. I was on a business trip. And then you came home, and then I came home. So I'm already probably on 10. 10 is team too much with you because I was like, hey, you probably want to get some more toilet paper. Things are changing. Bottled water. And he's like, yeah, we'll be all right. Well.
So that was the first relationship conflict in COVID was you're like, go get toilet paper and paper towels and bottled water now.
Y'all.
And I'm thinking, hey, the next time we make a store run, we'll get all that. Mm-hmm. So, and which showed I was the one that didn't get it.
And then simultaneously, I'm calling our daughters, and one in SoCal, the other one in Missouri, and I'm expressing, hey, things are changing pretty quickly. You need to come home, okay?
Right.
Just let me get the ticket for you. My oldest daughter, Jada, in Missouri. Let me buy your ticket, Jada. You need to come home. Maria, you need to come home now. We're going to drive and get you. And, of course, Dad is not wanting to go drive down to Southern California to pick up the daughter. I mean, it's a brutal drive. I get it, but I need my kids home. So this was on a Friday. I came home Saturday. On that Saturday, I called the girls again. I'm saying, hey, you need to get home. So they're like, we're fine. Everything's fine. Monday, I call my daughter, Maria, the youngest one in SoCal. I'm like, listen, it's like 9 o'clock in the morning. She's like, I have a class. I'm like, you need to come home today because I know things are going to start to close. And sure enough, Contra Costa County, which is in the Bay Area, they were on shutdown, full on lockdown. Like, no people in and out, curfew, etc. So I said, you need to come home today because I felt like for sure in our county we were going to be on the same progression. And sure enough, the next morning we were. Yep. But lo and behold, while I'm trying to call our youngest daughter to come home, her very good friend from high school who's at San Diego State said, hey, I'm driving home tonight. If you want me to swoop by and pick you up, I will. No problem. I got you. So my daughter calls me back and says, hey, if you really want me to come home, my friend's going to come through, pick me up, and we'll drive home. I'm like, great. Got one down, one to go. Yeah. So we get the one home. Now it's Tuesday. The next thing I know, the youngest one, Maria, her roommate calls and says, you know what? School is shutting down. We got to get out of here. We got to move all of our stuff out.
Yeah, so I guess you're a prophet because you already knew. I'm thinking when it happens, we'll deal with it then. Your instincts were right on. And I don't know if this is all husbands, but I was, slower in understanding that. So beyond that, we get to the four of us are now in the same house.
Finally.
For a few months. Jada ended up going back to Missouri by the summer because in that state, universities were coming back on campus at least for some classes. But so from March until June,
at least,
we were all together in the same house, and we had to rebuild relationships in a way, and we came up with some fun things.
We did.
So I don't know for you and your family what you did during the onset of COVID being in the same house. Did you come up with traditions? Like for us, Friday night became happy hour.
Friday night happy hour.
We had appetizers and beverages and
music,
with music playing,
dancing.
And, we kind of turned our house into a Friday night club. and we had appetizers. It was happy hour. We had music playing, and then we played card games.
Oh,
we
my
played
goodness.
board games. I mean, so Friday night was happy hour night.
Yep.
Saturday night became movie night because
Yes.
movie theaters shut down.
Yes.
And for you and I mean, because we're talking about relationships.
Yes.
I mean, for years, it's like, so
Since day one.
for those people that don't know us really well, we met in high school.
We did.
And our early dates were go to a movie and go to McDonald's downtown Minneapolis, Minnesota, when we lived there. That's where we're born and raised. And so going to the movie theater is like our deal. So, I mean, we've had a lot of different dates, but kind of our go-to is movie and something to eat.
That's right.
Or something to eat in a movie.
Correct.
And so one of the things that's really made me sad
Yeah.
during COVID is not going to movie theater with you every week.
Oh.
Like that was our thing. Like, I'm a pastor, so Sunday's a work day, so Monday is normally my day off. And so because you run a company, so I guess you can work whatever day you want. So so Monday's my day off, and I guess it's yours too. So we had this tradition where we would go to brunch,
Yeah.
and then we would go to a movie
Right.
on Mondays. That was our thing.
Well, sometimes we would go for a walk first.
That's true.
Go for a walk, and then we would brunch and a movie.
In a movie. And so I was really missing movie night, which became the next tradition. That Saturday night
Yeah.
is movie night.
Right.
And so, and you did this cool thing where you went and purchased the buckets, like you would have a bucket of popcorn at the movie theater. I think you and Jada Murray made homemade.
I made homemade ices or slushies.
Slushies. And so we had, and then on the island in our kitchen, you had all the kind of our favorite candy
From the movie
the
theater.
concessions at the movie theater. So we had Reese's Pieces, M&Ms, Junior Mints. is
Junior
your
Mints,
thing.
yep.
Yeah, you're really into Junior
Yep.
Mints, and I like Crunch-A-Bunch.
Oh, yeah,
So
Bunch of
is
Crunch,
It's like Nestle Crunch, kind of Crunch-A-Bunch. So I don't know if y'all know what Crunch-A-Bunch is. Well, anyway, that's my deal. So I mean,
Oh, and Twizzlers. Gotta have Twizzlers for the girls.
yeah. Can I just say, for the record, I hate licorice. I don't know why. I just don't like licorice.
I think 'cause it gets stuck
Mark,
in
do
your
you like
teeth.
licorice? Yeah, Mark hates licorice too. See, that's why I like you, Mark. Mark hates licorice. I do. We also talked about we didn't like cats before we started recording. But
we won't
I didn't want to
revisit
say
that.
that live because I don't want to
Yeah.
lose cat lovers.
Yeah,
But
no.
because I know
I
there's
like
a lot
dogs,
of them out
though.
there. So yeah, I'm thinking you got to have some traditions in your family. If you're going to get through this COVID era, you got to figure out, and if you don't intentionally work to deepen relationships,
Exactly.
the strain on the relationships is going to be even more than what it already is. Because I'm assuming for a lot of people, COVID put strain on relationships. It puts strain on relationships with spouses. It puts strain on relationship between kids and parents, and even those relationships that the people maybe you don't live with, right? But there's still stress and strain because you're going, I want to go see my parents. They're older and I can't go see them.
Yeah.
I wish my kids would visit me, but they can't visit me right now. I'm thinking of like how people had to do weddings were different, funerals were different, birthing babies was different.
Milestone birthdays were different.
I mean, when you had Jada and Maria, when you birthed them, I was right by your side.
Yeah.
I think I almost fainted the first time, but I was right by your side. I'm just thinking, if you would have had a baby during COVID, I wouldn't have been able to be right by your side.
Probably
I don't
not.
think I would have. I mean, everything's so different. So how would you say we were intentional about building our relationship during COVID so that it didn't bring any more additional stress on our relationship that would have already been on it because of COVID?
Yeah, I think for us as a family of four, and we are very close, having a time of check-in during mealtime was like our check-in time. So I made a point of, okay, dinner's going to be at this time every day. We're all going to come together, and we're just really going to go around the table and check in with one another as a barometer to see, where are you today? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst day ever, 10 being the best day ever, where are you? And how can I support you where you're at? How can we support each other? Because that's what's the most important. All you have is right there in front of you. That's all you have access to. So as opposed to being at odds and fighting again amongst each other, how can you look at it in a way of, okay, I know this is hard for me, so it has to be hard in some way for you. How can we best work together and get through this and support each other? So communication.
So for you, did our marriage get stronger during COVID? Did it take a step backwards during COVID? And what examples would you use to say it got stronger or it took a step back? What is your assessment of our relationship in the COVID era?
I feel like I'm on a test, but I would say definitely we became more resilient. Which is definitely a sign of strength, being that we were around each other all the time. We made a point to talk to each other more. Like, even if it was, okay, our daughters are gone or upstairs in their room, in their space, we have our space now. Let's look in each other's eyes and see what's really going on. And having that opportunity, because normally we're both so busy and traveling, I think brought us closer. Having that time to pray together, to read together, to dissect articles maybe that each of us was reading separately together, and just talk. We had more time for that. Our lives have been so busy, chaotic. I think even though there were some hard parts of 2020, the best part for me was being able to have that space back of being able just to talk with you.
Yeah. Okay, enough COVID. We're in February, 28 days in February. On February 14th, we will have been married 28 years.
14th or 13th?
Oh, it's the 13th.
See, we about to fight.
That's right. Oh, my gosh.
Here we go.
It is the 13th. The 14th is Valentine's Day. Oh, my gosh. What a mistake. I've never done that before. I've always known our wedding anniversary was on February 13th, and I just said the 14th. Wow.
I think Mark needs to put in that wah, 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 wah.
Yeah. The little Price is Right loser sign. Yeah. Okay. Husbands, don't do what I just did. Wow. So February 13th,
yes, sir.
We will have been married 28 years. So you came up with this idea of 28 days of love and reflections. What was that all about?
I think it was mostly, just a way of celebrating. Okay, let me back up. Normally, we're on a cruise ship. We're on a cruise ship.
That's true.
Right about now. We're in Miami getting ready to dock a cruise ship, going someplace tropical, because that's what you need in the wintertime. You just need to get away from the cold and the rain.
We've been doing that. Well, I was going to say, for sure, that's what we did for our 25th wedding anniversary. But the cruise thing even goes back a couple years even before that.
Oh, absolutely.
That was our deal.
So normally we'd be on a cruise ship. So I just said, well, we can't cruise away, but we can definitely bring some elements of that connection and those reflections to present day, even where we are. And so I thought it would be great that since it's our 28th wedding anniversary and there are 28 days in February, why don't we share with our friends what it means, to be in love, or to love, and friendship and intimacy and all that good stuff that builds a healthy, strong marriage. And ours now for 28 years.
Yeah. You know what the thing that's amazing to me is whenever we put something up on Facebook about our wedding anniversary or something like that, there are people that know us all the way back in high school, and they go, oh, they're still together. Oh, look at that. Hashtag Black love. Hashtag urban love. Hashtag Christian love. Hashtag chocolate and caramel.
Oh, no, that's you.
So on one hand, I'm like, oh, that's cool. But are people doing that also? Because the problem is there are a lot of relationships, a lot of marriages that aren't lasting 28 years in the world in which we live. And so what would you tell people? Now, there may be some people watching or listening go, well, we've been married 35 years. Wait till you get to that. I'm okay, well, we're talking about 28. So what has been the key, the secret sauce to being married 28 years. And as one of my late grandmothers used to say, that it would get gooder and gooder.
Gooder and gooder. I would say first and foremost is that you're my best friend. And that in this friendship that we have now in our marriage is that we have time where we have space to laugh. We have space to reflect. We have space to chastise sometimes. It just seems that way. And we've been together to the fact that we don't really fight about it. We talk it through. And I think that's what's been the key for how we have made it. We really don't go to bed angry. We wake up pretty happy and content. We spend a lot of time in prayer. Sometimes individually and then together collectively. Those have been the keys for me, and being with you, that has made it so sweet.
Yeah. There's been twice when, we were angry that I can think of before we went to bed. And so the one time I was like, I'm going to sleep on the couch. So I slept on the couch, and like after a while you came out there and you said, good and well, you ain't comfortable. You are not comfortable. Come in here in the room. So then I came to the room and we went to sleep. Then there was a second time. I was like, I'm going to sleep on the couch and I'm going to wait till she come get me. And you didn't come get me. She was like, you can stay out there. So then I was just like, I'm sleeping in my own bed. I'm not sleeping on this couch. My neck hurts. So that's only 2 times I can remember. So here we are. And 28 years, and I just want to say it has been a blessing. It has been awesome, and I do believe my grandmother when she said it gets gooder and gooder.
It does.
It does. It does. And what I'm learning is, if you're intentional about building a relationship on a strong foundation, of course I'm going to say a godly foundation, of course, but if you're truly committed to intentionally, because love just doesn't grow on its own.
Correct.
That's funny. Even people don't grow on their own. We grow based on, what we're doing to ourselves. I mean, there is part of us that grows, but I'm saying if you want to grow healthy, healthy growth, you have to be intentional, and so you have to, and that's so true. For a healthy relationship, you have to have a plan. You have to have intentionality. And so that's the one thing I would think to say today. And so I hope you're going to keep coming back. I mean, I think the idea is, that some of these City Beats episodes will be, relationships.
Relationships. I also wanted
heartbeat.
I wanted to add to what you just said too, that not only intentionality, but you have to decide. You have to decide. You have to choose, right, to love. You have to choose to forgive. You have to choose to be giving. You have to choose to be kind. And so, when you're in relationship, whether it's a married relationship, friendship, you're just a couple, you have to choose to be engaged into this person. When I say engaged in thought and conversation and communication with the person you're with, because if you choose not to, then why waste your time? And so I have proven that over 28 years, we have decided that this is important and that we continue to work on it.
That's awesome. We should close right there. That's a mic drop moment. Now, I'm not going to say nothing after that. So you may notice if you're watching this episode of City Beats, because that is an option. You can listen to it through Apple, or you can subscribe on YouTube and watch it. And if you're watching, you will notice that we have a new set. Ta-da! Grab that E behind you for a minute. Because I'm really into comic books, and this is my favorite. My favorite part of the set is this right here. Oh my gosh! Because I'm such a comic book. So
where's my D?
Okay, we gotta do that. I'm gonna sit that here just for now. We gotta do that. But I want to thank Marcella.
Yes, thank you,
Marcella Vu Pels for the set.
MVP.
So MVP, Thank her for the set. And I'm excited. Please tell people about City Beats. We are back for another season. And again, you send those messages in if you want to see Mark Johnston. We got to get to 1,000 though, because that's the only way I even have the slightest chance to talk him into this, because it's going to be very difficult to talk him into this. But you should just follow Mark. We'll talk about that on another episode of how you can follow Mark Johnston on Instagram, because he is an incredible guy, incredible dude. So, but that'll be for another episode. So thank you so much for checking us out. Season 2 is gonna be great. And once again, if you're new to all this, you should go back and listen to every episode of City Beats Season 1. We'll be back on the next episode.